Greetings, everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today, we are here to do an episode of What's New. Sorry, I'm just getting my notes here together. Guess I should have had them before I started, eh? Anyways, we're here to talk about a new album released in 2025. That's what we do on this show. The album I've chosen to talk about tonight is called Songs from the Nebula. The band is called Ping. They are a Norwegian band. This album came out October the 24th, 2025, so it's a couple weeks now, 3 weeks ago. It was in my last end of the month Prog roundup. I decided that it deserved some attention. It's a bit different, that's why I chose it. It's about 48 minutes, almost 49 minutes in length, and on the Apollon record label. Okay, so appearing on this album is Jørgen Grenier, vocals, bass guitar, synthesizers, drum machine. Mattis Janitz, guitar, banjo, ukulele, flute, bass, backing vocals, synthesizers, drum machine, and MIDI stuff, whatever that means. Your guess is as good as mine. Then you have Tori Hofstad on synthesizers, accordions, guitar, mandolin, and backing vocals. You got Mats Monstand on drums, percussion, backing vocals, and groaning, of all things. Then you got Bjorn Arne Johansson on guitar, backing vocals, mandolin, and bass. And last but not least, Roland Madland on synthesizers, guitar, and backing vocals. Now, there are a few other musicians on here playing on some of the tracks, but not on all of the tracks. And that includes Bendik Bjornstrand Foss on viola, Terrell Dorum Benson on cello, Embrick Snert on bassoon, Severe Reese on trombone, Christopher Bear Alberts on saxophone, Kim Alexander Eriksson on trumpet, and Mikael Oldgard Janitz on vocals as well. So you got a multitude of people on here playing a multitude of instruments. The band themselves are pretty multi-instrumental, lots of different stuff. Kind of reminds me of Gentle Giant in a way, at least in that regard. The overall feel of the album is, I would call it a kind of, well, it's just a multi-layered album is the best way to describe it. It's got lots of different elements to it. There's a spacey element, definitely some prog to it. There's some jazzy feel at time, a little bit of bluesy stuff going on. I guess there's almost a psychedelic element as well. Lots of quirky stuff here. The vocals are kind of all over the place. You got some good, solid, mainstream type vocals. You've got some growls in here. You've got some quirky kind of nonsense-like vocals going on. Some high-pitched stuff, some low-pitched stuff. There's a song, some of the songs almost sounds like Adam Sandler imitations at times. Yeah, lots of quirky stuff. There's some nice rhythmatic parts to the album. There's also a lot of chaotic, almost jammy-like feel to some of the songs. Lots of kind of odd bits and pieces, and lots of multi-layered instrumentation on this. So the only reading I've done on it says that it has a kind of Frank Zappa-ish feel to some parts of the album, as well as some of the other progressive rock bands as well. But overall, I liked some of the tracks quite a bit. Other tracks I didn't like at all. So to me, this is a kind of an extreme album. It's not like all the songs are kind of in a pattern, or that they all kind of fall within a range. Some of them are in the 7s, some of them as low down as 3s in my ranking system. So yeah, so an interesting album if nothing else. So I'm going to start by, there's 11 tracks on this in total, so I'll start with the first one, Accelerating Time. This was one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's got a multi-instrumental track, lots of layered and very complex stuff going on here. It's got a kind of catchy, fast-paced feel to it. The vocals are multi-vocal voices, lots of voices, very catchy, high-end, with some chanting-like parts throughout it too. Some heavy guitar and some rhythm, and a strong rhythm section. Yeah, this is a pretty solid track. I like this one a lot. Also didn't mention that the lyrics at times are really, not really that noticeable, and other times they're kind of quirky as hell. So the next track up is Space Time Companion. I believe this is my favorite track on the album. So the first two tracks I liked a lot. It's got a voice of it's almost a spoken part at points during the song. It's got a low-end guitar part with a multi-instrumental buzz to the background. The vocals, well, the harmony vocals on this are kind of in the mid-range, but very forward at the same time. Though most of the vocals here are pretty forward. Some of the distorted vocals are hard to follow, though. Guitar is dominant and forward. The nice synthesizer parts, very catchy, very dominant as well. The song slows and becomes more of a melodic guitar part towards the end of the track, but it's a solid song. Both those songs I liked a lot. Starts to drop off a little bit. Bad Boy Pluto is the next song. Some odd off-tune like vocal parts here, just kind of weird. Multi-layered and reoccurring throughout the whole track. So they come and they go and they come and they go. There's some nice heavy guitar parts here. Multi-instrumental parts throughout this song. There's a little bit of that growl vocals going on, and again the same kind of thing as the other vocals, kind of reoccurring throughout the song. The vocals are forward and raspy and scrappy at times, and the song gets heavier and then a little bit more distorted towards the back end of the song. So I did like this song. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too chaotic. They tend to go. There's a bit of chaos throughout most of their music. Some of it becomes too chaotic, and then it's just not really music anymore to me. Days in Space, spelled D-A-Z-E. This is a slow melodic sound with almost a jazzy feel to this track. The vocals feel odd and off tune, almost that Adam Sandler-like whiny voice to it, which I like that part, but not really as a vocal choice. It's multi-instrumental and there's some synthetic parts. I did not like this song, to be honest. I was glad when it was over. Next is Callisto. This is another decent track. Slow, fast banjo parts at the beginning. Lots of multi-acoustic parts, actually. Keyboard parts are a little bit on the overlaid side, so they're there, but they're not dominant. It does pick up tempo, and the vocals, again, are a little bit on the quirky side. And then there's some vocals that are almost like growl-like feel to them. Next up is Jewish Space Laser. This is a bit of a weird song. Actually, quite a bit of a weird song. It has a nice opening with a lot of percussion parts and odd noises. There's a synthesizer that's playing kind of in the foreground a bit. Vocals are more mainstream with a kind of a deeper sound. The lyrics are kind of quirky on this song, and the banjo is in the background while he's kind of almost talking that part. I would say this is a multi-layered part that has a kind of a psychedelic flavor to it as well. The percussion becomes a little bit more dominant towards the back half of this song, and the vocals are, I think they get a little bit more outrageous as they get that high pitch going on. Yeah, it's not a terrible song. I do like parts of it, but it's a little bit jumbled in my opinion. Next up is the longest track on the album. It's called Nebula. Nice synthesizer part, but it's very disjointed and chaotic in the opening. There's this female sounding vocal part here too, and it's quite distorted, so I'm not even sure if it's female or just a distorted vocal that sounds like a female. I'm not sure. Nice acoustic guitar part that kind of is fed throughout the track, and then it's kind of synthesizer driven on the second vocals, which are more it's a malish vocals, a little bit deeper, but it's synthesizer driven too. It was an okay track. I didn't dislike it. Next song up is called Drag Me Through Space. This was the second song on the album I didn't like. The vocals are deeper but odd. Percussion is forward here. Lots of percussion here. But a more, I would say, almost a reciting type vocals where he's actually reciting the lyrics. The sax is very forward here. It's actually quite nice. It's low in the mix and soft. Interesting. Grows heavier, multi-vocal, confusing, to be honest. So I'm going to go on to the back 3 tracks. There's only 3 tracks left. The first one of the 3 is called Black Matter Lives. Weird. A weird title. Catchy riff, though. Lyrics are odd. Vocals are multi, but also odd. Heavy bass part here, very forward in the mix. Probably the heaviest of the bass tracks on the album. Lots of keyboards and synthesizer parts. Almost a funky-like feel at it at times. There are some clear vocal parts towards the back end, which aren't too bad. Song was okay. The next one, Multiverse, another one of the stronger tracks on the album, opens with a calypso-like percussion sounds. Lots of them going on here. It's a bit fast-paced, kind of a heavy percussion, guitar-dominated part. Then you got some more multi-layered instrumental sounds, another catchy kind of beat that goes on throughout the track. The vocals are forward, multi-layered, and quirky. The song kind of switches up at the halfway point, maybe a little past the halfway point. It gets a little bit, it catches up to a little bit of more of a catchy sound. Overall, it wasn't a bad track. I didn't mind it. And then it ends off with possibly the worst track on the album called Kuiper. I assume it's after the Kuiper, or maybe it's pronounced Kuiper after the Kuiper belt. I'm not sure. Second longest track on the album, almost 6 minutes in length. Lots of odd percussion sounds and other noises to open. It slowly becomes a little bit more melodic, but the vocals are also distorted, multi-voiced, some high, some not so high, different sounds, but it's a very chaotic song, maybe the most chaotic song on the album. I didn't like it. There's like 3 tracks on the album I didn't like. For the most part, the rest of the stuff was good to very good. But that's my take on Ping and their album Songs from the Nebula. So I decided to choose this one because it was different. I wanted to talk something about some different stuff. I'm not sure what you would classify this music as. Definitely got lots of prog elements, lots of multi-layered stuff. I would say there's a little bit of a symphonic feel to it as well. But all that stuff, psychedelic, symphonic, jazzy, spacey, all these things apply at different points to the album. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of What's New. Please hit the like and subscribe. That's much appreciated. If you want to comment about Ping or about the album, you can do that in the comment section below. So take care, have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.